I'm going to make a little presentation now, although I think presentation probably isn't the right word, it's more of a warning, and I have a lot to cram in and not enough time to do it in, so I'll try to rein it in a bit, and hopefully we can all reach the end at the same time, but we'll have to see about that. So to start off with, I need to show you a machine, rather strange machine, a machine that's a sort of powerful actor in the future of London. Here it is. This is an electrostatic precipitator, and it has a very specific job, this machine. It cleans smoke, and it does this by filtering out all the dangerous particles here, sort of the inside, and allowing what remains to flow back out into the world, clean as a whistle, the kind of smoke that chooses popes, you could say. But if you just ignore the science for a second and just consider it, cleaning smoke, what a beautifully mysterious idea, and what a slippery activity. It's perhaps, you could say, the perfect euphemism for a tax-evading MP to describe his activities. Which brings me closer to why I'm bringing up this subject in the first place. Gotta stay hydrated. So, where are these machines used? Well, smoky places, of course. Places where the inner activities should remain hidden to avoid disrupting the outside world. Places like power stations. So, here are two conspicuous London examples. The mighty Battersea and the Regal Bankside, which now famously has been rebranded as Tate Modern. These two power stations were both built in the 1940s by the same architect, Sir Giles Gilbert Scott, who looks rather startled in this photo here. Scott wanted his buildings to be classical, familiar, to reassure with their familiarity, you could say. Now, nobody wants to have a power station in their back garden, so Scott's designs were especially useful to the local government, acting as sort of pacifying facades for the frightening machinery within, and all the while chuffing out this reassuringly whitened emissions. And so everyone was happy and life went on, really. Nowadays, the original machinery is silent and the buildings are undergoing big changes. You could say that they're acquiring new masters, property, in the case of Battersea, and art at Bankside. But I would argue that the original function of the facades of these buildings remains unchanged. Nowadays, it's not progress which is at stake, but conquest. And so there's a new kind of smoke to be cleaned, a new kind of activity to be obfuscated. You see, the thing about smoke is, whether clean or not, it still gets in your eyes. And these stations of contemporary power are seeking to take over London. So, a new kind of machinery is needed. The old smoke just isn't up to the job anymore. Allow me to present Lend-Lease's Experience Suite at Elephant and Castle. This is an incredibly complex machine. Don't worry, come in. This is an incredibly complex machine, designed to filter the vision, and in this way to filter out any unwanted particles of dissent or curiosity. Now, I made a simple diagram here to explain the procedure. So, public opinion enters here, the left-hand side, goes into the machine, and then, poof, shiny, happy people emerge on the other side. So, whilst entire regions of London are vanishing from the public domain, a new kind of smoke is concealing what's happening. A smoke that's kaleidoscopic, multifaceted. A smoke for the peripheries, designed to deflect passing gazes with a chemically altered reality. Now, at Battersea, they took this a bit further. Their emissions were looking a little watery, shall we say. Vague platitudes, strangely forceful notions, just all a bit strange. So they brought in the big guns, and they decided to use a screen, a smoke screen. They turned the entire building into a projection of itself, as you can see here. You could say $1 billion Rubik's Cube for the rich investor. And, well, so it goes on. Now, Battersea needs this level of cover because it has a lot to lose. It has some very, very important neighbours. For example, the new US Embassy, which is just a little downriver, which is a sort of a members-only fantasy land of missile launches and swimming pools in the sky. Now, this swimming pool got me thinking. You see, there must be a source for all these developments, a reason for how quickly they're spreading. If you scrape beneath the surface in Dubai, you'll find oil, which has seeped into the buildings and led to some pretty outlandish creations. That's the god, eh? But that isn't the case in London. And then I started thinking about water. You see, London's sitting on a nest of waterways, mainly subterranean tributaries of the Thames. There's about 15 altogether, if you can make them out on this map. And the interesting thing to note is the correlation between these underground rivers and the most heavily developed parts of the city. Often one sitting on top of the other. So, for example, Canary Wharf, which is sitting on the Black Ditch, or Liverpool Street on the Walbrook, Battersea on the Falcon River, and I could continue, even New Bermondsey there. Could it be that these underground rivers are somehow over-fertilising the soil, allowing these developments to sprawl like vines over the landscape? This would definitely go some way to explain the strange mutant plants often found in these developments. For example, these clone plants acting as sentinels at the Tate, a strange mixture of plastic and aloe vera. Now, aloe vera is a very useful plant. It's long been considered to have healing properties, used to treat scars and even, according to the Egyptians, to grant immortality. So it's a useful plant for a growing building complex. I suppose the plasticity adds to its defence capabilities, like this wall plant here, or this especially aggressive specimen. These plants are a very important weapon in the developer's arsenal. You see, the thing about smoke is, it's very slippery, it never stays in one place, it has no real substance. We can see right through this, for example, it's just not believable at all. So, the thing the developers have to do is to always stay one step ahead. If you look closely at their emissions, you can see them plotting quietly in the background. And be sure that while they're doing this, they're also following our every move. For example, have you ever considered how many windows are looking down on you in a standard London street? You'd be surprised. And also, this vision, of course, only runs in one direction. At Tate, even the clouds have eyes, which are glaring down at you from a commercial material. I mean, it's really quite terrifying. So I try to keep my eyes alert at all times to watch out for what's going on. And that's when I discovered the plan. The plan to keep us all distracted with the beautiful colours until such a time when the fertile waters of London run so high that all that remains are these glass castles, the rest of the city serving as their vanquished moat. And if you'll pardon the pun, at the moment things seem to be going pretty swimmingly. So I don't know about you, but I think I'm going to get out. So, yeah. Excuse me.